Be peaceful. I feel tranquil and quiet in body and mind.
Good morning, and welcome to Ignite Your Sparkle with Chris. A coffee chat and no-nonsense coaching to stratospheric success in every aspect of your life. On a mission, changing the Joes of this world. Minimum, one a day. Day by day. Every day. Every day. Go and sparkle your magic impact.
Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, the 28th September 21, and it's 6:16 in the morning. I hope you had a good rest and you're ready with your coffee for today's morning affirmation. I am peaceful. I feel tranquil and quiet in body and mind. Inner peace is possible, and you don't need to meditate on a mountaintop or break the bank for a wellness retreat in order to find it. Carving out time to relax is wonderful, but it's amid the frantic pace of everyday's life when we need it the most. That moment when you're stuck in the pharmacy line and the contents of your bag spill on the floor just as your phone starts ringing. That's when you need to find inner peace within yourself, right as you are suppressing the urge to unleash a stream of four-letter words. Peace of mind doesn't require peace and quiet. Have you ever been scuba diving or just watched a good deep sea documentary? The ocean's tide bring the drama when it crashes against the shore, but venture a few meters down and you'll find a tranquil world of creatures moving at their own pace, wholly unfazed by the action up above. The problem is most of us live sort of on the surface of the waves, where there's a lot of turbulence and wildness. But again, this deep, calm awareness is actually within each person. You don't need to shut out all the noise to find inner peace. There's this assumption that if you are in a quiet place, it will be more conducive to accessing this spot within. But in fact, there are people who have panic attacks while they're on a massage table. You could be on the underground or on a busy flight, surrounded by people and noise, and close your eyes to go into this space where your calmness resides. Breathe in, breathe out. Your breath is always with you, and both yoga and meditation practices harness the power of breath to help shift your state of mind. I like to recommend practicing the 4-7-8 breath, which is based on the time-tested yoga technique because you can do it anywhere at any time. Close your mouth and inhale through your nose as you count to 4. Hold onto that breath as you count to 7, and then exhale through your mouth for the count of 8. Remind yourself that you're breathing. Go to your happy place in your mind. This is another micro practice that becomes easier the more you do it, and the stronger your visualization, the more effective it is. It's okay if it takes you a while to conjure up what that go-to happy place is. You might want to picture the ocean, or your bedroom under your covers, a lake view, playing with your pet, being with someone you love, or maybe a favorite vacation. Then try to really get all the details in your mind's eye. The smells, the sounds, the textures, the touch. Accessing these vivid memories will cue your body to start feeling like you're actually there, which will relax you. Read the story you're telling yourself. If you find yourself spiraling over a perceived disappointment, frustration, or panic-inducing thought, try stepping back to assess whether what your brain is telling you is true. Examining the source of your turmoil can make it feel smaller in size. Recognize what's happening. Label the emotion because simply naming it calms down your over-arousal. Allow your situation to be there. You are not resisting it or trying to numb it and run away from it. You are allowing it to be there long enough to work with it. Then investigate. Ask yourself what most wants my attention. What am I believing? Where am I experiencing these feelings in my body? Can I put my hands on where I'm feeling it and soften the area? All of this inquiry is done with love, not judgment. And then nourish. This is defined as natural loving awareness. You've observed yourself and it's time to treat yourself with loving kindness. Ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now? Just talking to yourself like you would to a dear friend is extremely helpful and healing. It starves off the feeling of isolation. There's not only one road to self-compassion, so here's another way to think of it. Try a 3-step method called ACT, based on the work of Kirsten Neff, a prominent researcher in the field of self-compassion. A is for acknowledge, as you acknowledge your suffering or your struggle. This really sucks. C is for connect and connecting to all common humanity, to remember that you are not alone in this. Other people get frustrated, feel angry or impatient. The T is to talk kindly to yourself. When it comes to positive self-talk, her recommendation is to address yourself as you would a friend, because using I sentences may make you feel more isolated. Research shows that when you talk to yourself in the third person, you actually activate the care circuit in your brain so that you feel more cared for. You're accessing your higher self so that you can talk to yourself off the ledge and you feel more supported. So I would say you're going to be okay. This is really a hard moment, but don't forget, you're not alone in this. While a compassionate inventory of how you're feeling is a powerful mindfulness exercise, asking yourself, what do I need to do right now, can remind you to lean on actions that tend to give you peace. Since many people find it challenging to remember which activities bring them joy when they are currently feeling in chaos, I recommend looking to a joy list that you have compiled ahead of time. Free associate what brings you joy and then pick something on the list to do when you're feeling lousy. While you're doing that thing, such as flower arranging or baking, savor it. Take it in for a few moments, because taking in the good rewires your brain for happiness and resilience. If you look at beautiful sunset and say, that's beautiful sunset, what's for dinner? You haven't given your brain a chance to truly form a positive connection. Instead, try to fully give yourself over the moment, noticing the rich colors of the sky, because that's productive work in its own way. Just letting you fill you up for that moment of awe is enough to rewire your brain for happiness and resilience. You can do this multiple times a day, building up a joy reserve by just savoring those first sips of morning coffee or the sound of a child giggling. Cultivate gratitude for what's happening and not happening. The psychological benefits of gratitude have been championed repeatedly in the field of happiness research. And practicing gratitude is another way to quickly access that state of inner peace. I suggest 2 simple ways to get into that habit: keeping a gratitude journal and smiling as soon as you sit up in bed in the morning. When you smile, it signals to your brain that things are good and that you are happy. If you find yourself struggling to think of what you're grateful for in the heat of a chaotic and frustrating moment, I suggest you start by naming what you're glad isn't happening. And boom, now you've got something to be thankful for. To go back to our earlier underground example, in a crowded commute, you might think, I'm glad I'm not being mugged right now, or I'm glad it's actually moving and we are not stuck in the dark. I'm glad it's air conditioned. I'm glad I have a seat. I'm glad I have a physically healthy body. One small positive thought often sparks another. Ask yourself 2 questions daily. Your gratitude journal entries don't need to be lengthy reflections like some burdensome daily homework assignment. Instead, use these 2 simple prompts to list an item or 2 for each. What did you enjoy today? And what am I grateful for today? Maybe you did something that's on your joy list, for example. Serve others to help yourself too. Everybody knows that when you help other people, you feel better. Even in the coronavirus pandemic, there were plenty of ways to help, including dropping off canned goods or volunteering virtually. Those in the field of positive psychology believe that the good feelings that come from truly meaningful acts cultivate something they deemed eudaimonic well-being. Over decades, research has suggested that in the long term, the eudaimonic happiness that people feel from doing something like volunteering or making someone else feel good is more rewarding and longer lasting than the more commonly pursued hedonic well-being, which prioritizes seeking pleasure and minimizing pain. Thus, building up a reserve of eudaimonic happiness throughout acts of service could potentially up your general inner peace baseline and maintain a good self-care hygiene. Eating right, getting plenty of sleep, exercising, meditating, and practicing mindfulness daily life activities can all shore up to mental peace defenses for when all hell breaks loose in your world or in your head. Even while you're just brushing your teeth, you can focus on feeling the toothbrush, tasting the toothpaste, and hearing the sounds. You're not worrying about your to-do list or what just happened in the news. That's a mindfulness in daily life activity. It's all about developing the pause so that when you feel yourself reacting to a situation, you're better prepared to respond in a calmer way. And then finally, practice acceptance. In the larger pursuit of learning to tap into your inner peace, accepting the existence of things that are out of your control is the long-term goal, difficult as it might seem. Acceptance is an overall way of engaging with life. So it's less about a quick practice and more about a life orientation. When we resist our circumstances, we create a lot of suffering, which of course is the opposite of inner peace. And the second you start going with the flow and putting yourself in alignment with that, what it is, you immediately start to have a sense of flowing with rather than flowing against. It's a challenging process and one your brain may resist on impulse at first. That's why it's called practice. You may not nail it the first, 15th or 50th time, and that's normal. In terms of practice, I might say to someone, right, when you're in a situation like you're in a long grocery line, you can't believe it, you're late for something, you're feeling really stressed. Just stop, drop into your heart space and say, this is what I've got, this is where I am. I'm just going to flow with this. And I'm going to look for an opportunity now just to practice patience and practice self-compassion. I wish I could be faster. I wish I wasn't in this line, but I am. It's okay. And I'm okay. Just be peaceful. And that was it for today. I hope you have an awesome sparkly day and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.